about get to know South Korean cultures. And now I will explain material about cross-cultural understanding. The meaning cross-cultural understanding in an understanding that aims at the differences in foreign culture in life or habit between countries. And then I will explain some of the culture that exists in South Korea, among them traditional clothing, traditional music tools, the famous food, norms or ethic, religion, and the last language. The Republic of Korea. The name Korea, Daeganhibuk, in English, Republic of Korea, or commonly known as South Korea, is a country in Asia covering the southern part of the Korean Peninsula. To the north, the Republic of Korea is bordered by North Korea, where the two were the United as country until 1948. The country is known as Hanguk by residents of South Korea is called Namchasan in North Korea. The capital city of Korea is Seoul. And the next, traditional clothing. The name is hanbok. Hanbok is a traditional Korean dress that has excited since the royal era. Hanbok, which is usually worn by Korean people in the general, has bright color motifs, does not have pocket visible lines. In the ancient times, the color displayed on traditional clothes were also believed to have their own meaning. Hanbok can be classified into everyday, ceremonial, and special dress, and then further categorized by gender, age, and season. Of the differences in the classification, the basic aesthetic framework of all hanbok is centered around the Korean foodness and the natural, and then the desire for supernatural protection and blessing, and then fusion dress code. And the next, traditional music tools. The name is gayagum. Gayagum is a national traditional musical instrument that parcel made of wood and shaped like a guitar but not stem. The gayagum is a traditional Korean string instrument in the form of a harp with 12 strings. Traditional Korean string instruments are made of, the name is paulownia, wood, and some other materials that are categorized on the basic of the basic technique used to produce of the sound, such as plucking, pulling, and hitting. For example, the gayagum mainly produces sound when the strings are plucked. The player, who is seated on the floor and places one end to the instrument on the right knee while the other end rests on the floor. The strings are plucked to the right of the bridge with the thumb and first three fingers on the right hand. The left hand presses down or pulls on the string to the left and the bridge, producing microtonal ornamentation of pitch and the made vibrato typically found in Korean music. The next, the famous food, tteokbokki and kimchi. Tteokbokki is one of the typical Korean food, and tteokbokki has a savory, sweet, and spicy taste sensation combined in the three great sauce. This is made from rice flour and then cooked in the gochujang seasoning or Korean chili paste, which has a spicy and sweet taste. At first, tteokbokki was only intended for the royal family and as means of healing. Tracking in the history of its emergency, tteokbokki first appeared in the Joseon dynasty, and it is better known as gochujang tteokbokki. The variants of this food also vary, ranging from hamon tteokbokki or gochujang tteokbokki or cheese tteokbokki. And the last variant is food in many street food outlets. And the next, this is a kimchi. Kimchi is a famous Korean food in the form of liquid fermented vegetables that are given a spicy seasoning. After being salted and washed, the vegetables are mixed with all seasoning made from grilled prawns, fish sauce, garlic, ginger, and red chili powder. The most common vegetables for kimchi are chicory and radish. And the next, ethics or norms. Maybe you're used to just shaking one hand when you greet people, but in South Korea this is only done by elders and those of high rank. It's better to use two hands when you shake because this is a sign of respect. If someone else bows when you shake your hand, the polite thing it is to bow. When interacting with someone older or high rank, it is always polite to bend over a little. Use two hands when you support your right arm with your left, when passing on business cards, gifts, or when receiving an item. Religion. The development of religion in South Korea. Religion in South Korea is characterized by the fact that almost half, 46% of Koreans have no religion, 22% of the population identify as Buddhist, 18% as Protestant, and 10% as Roman Catholic, and the total 29% Christian. And the last, language. Korean, it is the most widely spoken language in Korea, and it is the official language of South and North Korea. As for the language used in South Korea is the original Korean language itself, or what we know Hangul or Hanguk. And if there are also few who use English, such as immigrants. As for the Korean language in ancient times, it was known as Korean Hanja.